Have you ever wondered what could possibly be fabulous about having no working vision? Well, stay tuned, because today I have 10 fabulous things I'm going to talk to you about. There was a point in my sight loss journey when I didn't think I would be sitting here right now filming this video for you. There were some low points, but when I sat there and realised, right, I'm going to come out as blind to myself, come out as blind to the world, accept this for what it is, what I truly am, I could love myself again, because at the end of the day, there isn't a cure for my blindness. I'm not going to get my sight back in the near future. Maybe technologies in the very distant future may have a cure for me, but it's not good for me to think that every single day, oh, I might have a cure, or oh, it might be better tomorrow, because we've got to live today as if it's our last day. And that's the first thing that I think is absolutely fabulous. I just think it's amazing that I'm sitting here and I love the skin that I'm in right now. There may be many stereotypes about being blind, and I think the YouTubers today and the content creators who are blind today are smashing it out the park, because we are just normal people. Our eyes happen to not work, but it is fabulous being blind and you can rock it. Number one, joy is a choice. And I have found it because I lost my vision. I truly know what it's like to live life with all of my other senses, and truly I have found acceptance like I never thought I would in my whole lifetime of myself and my disability. Being disabled doesn't mean that you're broken, and it took me a long time to come to terms with that statement. You know, I'm blind, I'm not broken, I'm still Lucy. Life is truly what we make it. We should live every single day as if it is our last. We should just do what we love, be creative, and find an outlet that you truly do enjoy. I felt like there was a lack of control in terms of what happened to me. My eyes suddenly, you know, one day I had them and one day I didn't. You know, I lost my eyesight pretty much overnight with an operation, you know, a good 7 years ago now. And I started to think about how much control over that I didn't have any control over it. I used to sit there with a tub of Ben & Jerry's, really just being like, oh, well, this is really rubbish and I can't control it. When I started to think differently and sort of turned it on its head, but what can I control? What can I do? What are the steps in my day that make life worth living now? And when I started to embrace that, I started to think about shampoos with different scents and how I could feel my makeup bag, and how, you know, maybe living in a different city that I've never seen before is going to be amazing, because I'm not going to keep thinking about all the things I used to see. So I live in a different place in the UK now, and you know, throwing yourself into things and telling yourself, right, this is what I can control, really jolted my outlook of my life, and it just made me feel so liberated. And I honestly can tell you, I don't know whether I would have come to that conclusion if I never went blind. Number two, I am the only one on this whole planet that sees what I see, and I think that's so cool. My eye is so complex. If you want to hear me describing what I see, I will put a card on the screen right now, because I did a video a few weeks ago discussing exactly what I can sort of articulate that I do see. But I just think that's so cool. If you think about all of the people that can see 20/20 and have the same sort of outlook on life, it's given me a different one. But in terms of, you know, I have floaters and all of these different things in my eyes that I see every day, and that is so unique. It's made me think of, even, I know this got deep very quickly and very meaningful very quickly, but I think of death even in a different way. I saw one of my organs die in front of my eyes, pardon the pun. I'm not scared of that, you know, I was, but I'm not now. I'm used to it. I've seen darkness. My life can't get any darker than it did, and I know how to deal with the extremities of a body part being lost, you know, the mental strain that puts on you, and the loss and the grief that I survived, and I'm here and I see differently. I do see the world differently, and it's similar to my first point, but I love the vision that I have. You know, I close my eyes and open them and I can see the same thing. I have floaters, I have flashing lights, and no one else sees that way. Also, my condition is so rare. Even people with incontinenti pigmenti aren't necessarily blind, which I will link my other how I'm blind, why I'm blind video on the screen right now that I did a good year back, all about my condition, because it's so rare. It's so complex and I've learnt to love it. Number 3, I have really unique conversations with everyone I meet. Olga, my gorgeous guide dog, just makes the conversation so joyful. We talk about our dogs, you know, on public transport, or I'm on a bus, or I'm in a new situation where I'm just sort of walking about on my own with Olga, and I don't feel alone because there's instantly a conversation, there's instantly something that I can relate to with other people. You know, often I walk past little kids and their parents and they're like, oh, that doggy looks like Eric or Lucy, and a lot of Labradors seem to be called Lucy. Very weird. But it's really sweet because I can have that interaction with the public and I don't feel alone. I never feel alone because I've got Olga with me. I'm constantly communicating with people, and I think this is where my love of journalism came from. It sort of hit me one day that I was having all of these conversations on the train. I think I've got several people on Facebook now because we've had a really good NASA on like an hour-long train journey from London to Birmingham, and I've known all about them and their life, and I wouldn't have spoken to those people if I wasn't blind. I just think that's so beautiful. Obviously, there is an aspect of stranger danger, just a note to always be careful, but equally, you know, to have a casual chat is just brightens up my day. Number 4, the art of storytelling is so beautiful. Description is my world now. Everywhere I go, it's either described to me through audio description with the person that I'm with, or I'm getting directions from someone who I don't know, or I'm watching a TV show and there's loads of description in it, and I think it's really allowed me to get to know the person that's describing things to me, and I feel like I've got closer relationships because of it. Even in my family life and my fiance, you know, we're so close, we're such a tight-knit family. My parents and Ollie are so close and it's the best ever, and I think it is because of the art of description, and they've all banded together and really loved having this as part of our life. I mean, for example, every single year, my dad, my mom, my sister, Ollie, we all sit around and we watch the Eurovision Song Contest. It's one of the best nights of my life, and I love it even more than I did when I couldn't see it. I don't think I really necessarily watched Eurovision loads or took any notice of it before I didn't see that well. And the descriptions that Ollie comes up with and the outfits that the people have on with Eurovision, the whole night is spectacular. We pull down the cinema screen and we have our popcorn and dough balls, and Dad and Ollie are bantering back and forth, and we have a massive laugh, and that is the art of description. I love audiobooks, podcasts. It is what makes life so vibrant and colourful for me. It's amazing. Number 5, trust people. Now, as a blind person, I navigate the world. If I don't know where I am, I'm on Google Maps, and if I'm stuck, I talk my way out of situations. You know, I have the confidence now to say, hello, kind sir or madam, where is the door? Or, you know, could you assist me? Could I take your elbow? And could you get me to the station platform? Or can I follow you out of the train station doors so I know how to navigate myself and sort of orientate myself with Google Maps? You know, the trust I have in others that allows me to orientate myself and navigate tricky situations really does make me feel confident that actually I can get anywhere and do anything that I want to. I just have to have the confidence. I think that brings me into point 6, you know, the confidence that I have now with myself. I've developed so much as a woman. That's probably an age as well, but if we just take a look at the workplace and knowing what I need to tell access to work, to say what I need, because you have to be quite au fait and confident within yourself and know what you need in order to tell someone else what you need. So it's all about having a document on all of my access needs and a bullet pointed list of what I want and when I need it. And I need a screen reader, do I need a note taker, what specific situation is this, what format do I need my documents in, you know, all of that takes time, effort and consideration. In that situation, in this set situation that this said person is asking me about, how do I advocate for myself? How do I get the best out of this situation that I possibly can as a functioning human? And that takes courage and a lot of time and effort, you know, that I have put back into myself and really delve deep into, you know, who I am and what I need. So yeah, having a document like that for work or school, you know, I've really developed the art of communication. Number 7, I love tech, but in a completely different way. When I was growing up, myself and my dad and my sister were early adopters to computers. My dad certainly was, and we were on a computer from such a young age, you know. Before I even really learnt to write stories, I was just jamming my hands on the keyboard and there'd be like a nice pretty picture next to it, and my dad was like, yeah, let's print out that Word document. I remember so vividly that it was just a jumble of words and just a picture, and my dad was like, what a lovely story, darling. The transition from sighted cursor user with a screen to a keystrokes, JAWS and voiceover user, I had a hump to get over. Yes, it was traumatic because I used to think, oh, me and my dad did this and me and my dad did that when I was younger and I can't just click something. That thought of negativity and maybe lack of control transitioned into something that actually I felt so cool that I can probably navigate the computer quicker than I ever could with vision. I'm not clicking things anymore. I'm learning the key presses to get on the document, to get on the dock, to get on the desktop. I could probably do like 5 keystrokes and I've got into the document so much quicker than I ever would have done. That is so liberating. Tech gives me the power. Tech has really sped me up and it makes me equal. It allows me to explore so many things. I mean, being on YouTube, watching videos, what would I have done without my iPhone? I don't know. The reliance on it and the relationship I have with my tech as well is different because it's a mobility aid for me. It's not just a computer or a phone, you know. I do have a reliance on it in a different way, and I really do appreciate the updates. I invest in making sure I'm up to date. I love Apple keynote conferences. I'm proud to use an accessible emoji because, you know, I am being included, and I think that's what is really good to emphasize with Apple, that they're such an inclusive company. How as a blind person, I feel so liberated because of their tech. I can just get a phone out of the box like everybody else and just use it. You know, that relationship is a trust over many years. Number 8, I don't need any lights on in the house, and my electricity bill is a lot lower when my sighted fiance isn't home. I often FaceTime my auntie or my mom and I forget that the lights aren't on, and they're like, Luce, you're in the dark. I'm like, I must have been like that for a good few hours because I didn't hear the Alexa go off to tell me whether it's sunrise or sunset. I couldn't tell whether it was dark outside, and we're just laughing. I just feel so happy that I can just still go about my life. I don't need my eyes anymore. I don't need it to be light. I can read Braille, or I could listen to anything on my computer, and it's sort of like, bye-bye, you know, I don't need you. I'm in control with my body in a completely different way, and it's just so funny. I feel so happy when I'm reading with Braille. My hands have got so much more sensitive, and my brain has rewired itself. It's actually rewired the visual cortex part of my brain to actually send signals for me to touch and be a lot more like in touch with my ability to read Braille and have more sensitive fingers. You know, I don't hear better necessarily than sighted people. I just listen more. It's my surroundings, my reality. So being in the dark doesn't faze me at all. I am that person that can just have a bit of a power cut, don't need candles, don't need anything, and I can lead the charge. You know, let's go out in the dark. And it used to be that I didn't have any night vision, and I would be truly stumped by that when I was younger. But now, you know, let's go out with my guide dog, let's go out with my cane, let's bring it on. You know, we don't need light. Number 9, I don't judge anyone by their appearance at all. I didn't anyway, but I love the fact that I can really know the person, the whole person, before we even start describing ourselves or, you know, describing what we're wearing or what we look like, because it doesn't matter to me. None of it matters in that sense. You know, visuals don't really come into my head like they used to. Obviously, I care about the visual world. I care about colour. I care about, you know, my house looking nice, but it's more about the smells, the textures, and how deep I get with someone emotionally. And that is just a different way of looking at life. You know, I don't get bogged down by Instagram. I don't sit and look and scroll. I don't see superficial things. I get to the depth of a problem. And yeah, maybe if you're like learning a script or something, I used to get really annoyed because I'd be like, oh, I'd need to know it back to front upside down. But that is a good quality. You know, having a few braille notes on paper and, you know, trusting yourself to really learn something. I always say, as a blind person, I really learn something thoroughly, or I really get the most out of a situation, because I can't go half measure. I have to go full in. And that's like my relationships. And I've made so many amazing friends. For instance, Mariam and Agon and Kevin and Helena and Fern and Josh, you know, we're all a group that understand each other. We've all got a visual impairment. We're all blind, and they're some recent friends that I absolutely adore, and I wouldn't have them if I wasn't blind necessarily. Well, I may have done, but you know, just the ability to have a good time doesn't stop because you are blind. Now more than ever, I've really noticed, even through lockdown, you know, the art of communication. My family as a unit as well is so powerful because we have deep emotional bonds. Also, I get to know people so quickly. There's no ability to be superficial. At the end of the day, if they don't want to know about blindness, or they don't care for it, or they don't want to be my friend, I see through that a lot quicker. I think now I see things so much more clearly. Now I'm blind. That's the only way I can really describe it. I've never been on dating apps because I've always just been with Ollie. But let's say if I was on a dating app, I wouldn't have someone approaching me to be my partner if we didn't have a really in-depth conversation about life and about our interests. My life is more than the superficials, more than the visuals of anything, and I love it. It makes me feel so liberated. I think the blind community is the best. Certainly from my circle of friends that I've made, our discussions and the way we communicate, it's not about the visuals at all. Number 10, I can skip lines at airports, and I feel like travel is quite a lot quicker when you can't see. Obviously, there's a caveat of having your cane and guide dog maybe slightly slower, but if I go to an airport, I can skip the queues right ahead. I don't have to wait 2 hours. I don't need 2 hours to board. I have an assistance person, and whoever I'm with can skip the lines, and we go past security, and it's all very quick and slick. That's one of the things I really love. Also, my blue badge. Whenever I'm going shopping to Tesco with Ollie, I can get towards the door quicker. And obviously that's only right because I can't navigate the car park as well, but it does put me on an equal playing field, and it just allows me to feel like we are floating in and out of places. And it's a lot easier if you're carrying loads of shopping to have that ability to do that. So that's definitely a positive, I think. And that is it for today's video. Those are the 10 most fabulous things about being blind, darling. Please write in the comments down below if you have any more fabulous, great, lovely things about having no vision. We see the world so differently. If I think of any more, I'm sure I will do another updated video for you lovely people. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. Follow me on there. I have so much more content most days on all of them, especially daily on TikTok. So follow me at Lucy Edwards Blind. Twitter is at Lucy Edwards, and Instagram is at Lucy Edwards Official. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you like my YouTube videos, and I will see you next week for a new one. Bye!